To the live today, I am going to show you the job interviewing hacks that get you 10 times more job interviews and offers. Okay, I'm going to show you a simple process that you can follow to get almost every hiring manager that you interview with to give you an offer. I'm going to talk to you about the job interview. I'm going to tell you what the job interview is about. Most of you have no idea what the job interview is actually about. I'm going to tell you what the job interview is actually about. It's not what you think it is, so I'm going to share that with you. And I'm also going to tell you every job interview question that a hiring manager will ask you. I'm going to tell you why they ask those questions, and I am going to tell you how to answer them and why you should answer them the way that I suggest. Okay? If you follow what it is I'm sharing with you, you will not be nervous in an interview. You will know exactly what to expect, what a hiring manager is going to ask you. You will be very clear on why they're asking those questions and answer those questions so they give you a job offer. And then I'm going to tell you two additional things. Number one, I'm going to talk to you about the questions you should ask the hiring manager at the end, and the hiring manager will tell you right there on the spot if they are going to make you a job offer. And then finally, I'm going to tell you the 4-sentence email reply you can send. Once you get a job offer, the 4-message email reply you can send. And every hiring manager that you send that to who gives you an offer, they will give you $2,000 to $10,000 more than the original offer they gave you. And I'm going to tell you why that is the case, how I know it's the case, and why it works. Okay? So that is the promise. If you stick around to the end, you will know how to master job interviewing and never ever have an issue again. I do want you to stick around to the end, because there are some things that I'm going to share with you that's going to help you if you need the help. Okay? So this is the next 60 minutes. I'm just going to share this information with you, so take notes, share the live. I want us to get to 5,000 likes on this live, 5,000 to 10,000 likes. So if I say something that resonates with you, that hits home, and you're like, man, that makes sense, I want you to tap the screen 30 times. It'll take you 10 seconds to tap the screen 30 times. The reason why I ask you to do that is because it spreads the live throughout the platform and lets other people know that if they're interested in a job and they're interested in landing a job, then they can watch the live as well. Okay? So, just a little bit about me. I have been in talent acquisition and recruiting for 36 years. I am the person for every company that I've ever worked for. I design the entire hire process that you have to go through to get hired for a job. So I'm in human resources, and that half of human resources that does all of the recruiting, I'm the person that does that. I have built some of the biggest hospitals, clinics, customer service call centers, and tech support call centers, some of the biggest locations in the U.S. So recruiting is what I do, is what I love do, is what I'm passionate about doing, and it's what I will do until I am no longer on this earth. I absolutely love recruiting. Thank you for the rose, Kamal. I appreciate that. Okay, so I want to share this information with you. Now, why do I do this? Okay, so let me just kind of give you my story, the 60 minutes clip of my story. You know, I grew up very poor. Okay, rich in love, but very poor in resources. Okay. And I didn't know that we were poor until I was about 12 or 13 years old. But my mom and my dad, they had 8 children. In fact, my mom lives with me, and she said to me today, "I'm so glad God gave me all 8 of you." And I said, well, you could probably do without like 3 or 4 of them, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so 8 children between my mom and my dad. My mom married my dad when she was 16 years old. Okay, you can do that back then. She's 93 now, but she married him when she was 16. She got pregnant when she was 18 and had my oldest brother. She never finished high school. Okay, She did not get her GED until she was 38. But before she did that, her and my father divorced after like 25 years. And my mom didn't have a skill. So my dad moved out of the house, and the resources that my dad was bringing in, because he was the sole breadwinner, they were gone. So my mom had to get on welfare. And, we were eating. I knew there were some times we had to eat mustard sandwiches and ketchup sandwiches and so on and so forth. And I just thought that was just the way it was. But it wasn't until I was about 12 or 13 and I started participating in team sports that I realized we don't have any money at all. Oh, my goodness. What do I mean? Well, when I needed football cleats, it was challenging for my mom to get money to buy me football cleats, baseball cleats, equipment for football. I was a wrestler in junior high school and in high school. So even that was tough for her to get. I can remember going to school with a hole in the bottom. I used to have these black Chuck Taylor Converse, and you would wear them all year, and then through the summer you would wear them outside and we would play basketball. I wore holes in the bottom of my shoe. And to make sure our socks didn't get wet, what we used to do is put cardboard pieces in the bottom of our shoe. And then I would rub the top of my shoe from playing basketball, and I wore holes in the top corner of my shoe where the big toe was. And I remember one year, because my mom likes to sew, I used her thread, pink thread, on white rubber to sew that up, and it looked like bubble gum. One of my friends told me said to me in junior high school, "Hey, you have bubble gum on your shoe." And when he looked closer, he realized that it was thread. I didn't care, but I'm just saying that's what it was. I didn't realize we were poor until then. So when I was 12 or 13 years old, I said something to myself that I still try to make sure I live by today. And I said, I feel like I'm a burden on my mom. Now, I know I wasn't a burden, but I felt like I was a burden. I said, I don't want her to have to worry about me. So the moment I get a chance to make some money somehow, get a job, make some money, I'm going to do that so she doesn't have to worry about whether she needs to buy me anything. So when I was about 14 years old, I started throwing newspapers door to door, the Miami Herald. And when I was 15 years old, I started working at McDonald's. And then I worked at Burger King, and then I worked at Popeyes. And then I was one of the top wrestlers in the entire state of Florida, like top 2 or 3 my junior and senior year. So I had college scholarships. But I turned those scholarships down because I said if I go to college, my mom is still going to have to worry about, providing money for me because I wouldn't be able to work. And I don't want to do that. So I opted to go into the U.S. military. They promised me that I could wrestle, which I did. And I spent 10 years there. And my mom has never had to worry about me ever since. Why do I do this? I didn't like the way I felt. I felt like I was a burden on my mom. So I've spent the past 36 years trying to help you not feel the same way. I don't want you to feel like you are a burden on your family, your spouse, that you can't provide for your kids. I don't like that. And so hiring managers will come and ask me, can I help them? And my answer is no, I don't help hiring managers. I help candidates to defeat hiring managers. That's why I do this. I don't do it for any other reason other than that. It's my God call. The pain in your life is an indication of the purpose you have been created to fill by God. And I know that this is my God call. So I'm going to do my best to help as many people as I can. Stick around to the end. I'll talk to you about some things that I have to offer you if you need the help. If you don't need the help, I totally understand. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay? So let's talk about job interviewing. Okay? The issue that people have when they interview is they have no idea what the job interview is all about. I'm going to talk to you about 6 things, 6 big mistakes everybody makes. Everybody. Every single person. I do not allow people to interview with hiring managers that I submit unless I prep them. Because I know they're going to make these mistakes and they're not going to get the job offer. I already know it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these 6 mistakes that you make, and I'm going to tell you how to stop making them. Okay, so mistake number 1. So you've submitted your resume, and the hiring manager has seen your resume, and they want to interview you. Okay, so the purpose of your resume is to get you an interview, but the purpose of the interview is to get you an offer, to get you the job. So if you're interviewing, but you're not getting a job offer, your interviewing is broke. I talked to a client who did a coaching call with me 2 Mondays ago. And every time I do a coaching call for prepping or career coaching, I send out a survey. And one of the questions in the survey is, what is your strength? And he says, well, my strength is I'm a good communicator. I'm articulate. Right? And I said, okay, great. How many interviews have you had in the last year? He said 30. And I said, your problem is you're interviewing and you don't even know it. It has nothing to do with your skill. You had 30 interviews and no one has made you an offer, and you don't know what the issue is. And I told him why, which is what I'm going to tell you. So what's the first reason? The first issue that people have when it comes to getting 10 times more job offers. Number 1, when you interview, you have no idea what the job interview is about. You think the purpose of the interview with a hiring manager or a recruiter, you think the purpose is to sell them on your skill, experience, education, and background. That's what you think. You think that's what we want to hear. That's what we're asking you questions to find out. It's not. In fact, I'm going to make a very bold statement that I make all the time. We don't hire you, make you an offer. No one makes you an offer just because you can do the job. I'm going to prove it. Have you, type yes in the chat if this has ever happened to you. Have you ever interviewed for a job and you knew you can do the work? You knew it. You were totally qualified, had all of the skills, and you still didn't get the job. Type yes in the chat if that has ever happened to you. It happens all the time. It has happened to me many times. I've interviewed for a job. I knew exactly what the problem was for recruiting, and they didn't offer me the job. And I was like, what did I do? I thought I said everything correctly, but I didn't. Okay? So I'm going to tell you the big mistake that a lot of people make. Okay? And you are probably making this mistake right now. You think the job interview is about showing the hiring manager that you can do the job. It's not. We pick you from your resume because of your skill and your career. So we already know you can do the job. So I tell clients, when you interview with the hiring manager, and I was interview prepping someone earlier today, I said, you will not open your mouth to talk about your previous work history. You won't. Don't even talk about it. Don't, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to sell them on the fact that you can do the job, and we already have your resume. We already know you can do the job. It's just redundant. That's not why we're interviewing you. We pick you because of your career. But we don't offer you the job for that. When we interview you, we offer you the job because of your character. Now, I'm going to paint a picture here for you. This is going to totally open your thinking. This is a game changer. Okay? Somebody asked me the other day, Daniel, can you tell if someone is BSing you in an interview? And I said, yeah, I could tell in seconds. And he says, how is that? Okay, so let me tell you how, please. This has made me an expert recruiter, an expert trainer of hiring managers. I train hiring managers on interviewing and the questions they should ask. So the questions that they ask you, I'm the one that told them to ask you those questions. And I tell them what to look out for. Okay, so I want you to listen to me very carefully. There is a scripture in the Bible that says, Luke 6:45, it says, out of the abundance of a person's thinking. It says heart in the Bible, but that word heart translates thinking. So out of the abundance of a person's thinking, the mouth will speak. What that means is what you say out of your mouth gives us insight into how you think. Okay, out of the abundance of a person's heart or thinking, the mouth will speak. Now there's a partner scripture to that. And it's Proverbs 23:7. And it says this: as a man thinks, so is he. Translated, you will do what you think. So let me put those things together. If I want to know how you will act, I have to know how you think. In order for me to know how you think, I have to hear you speak. In order to get you to speak, I have to ask you pointed interview questions. So we interview you so we can understand how you think, so we can predict how you're going to act. So when we say, tell me about yourself, and you start talking about your career, you're not giving us insight into what you will do. You're giving us insight into what you did. That's not what we're asking. We're trying to get a sense of your character as a person. Okay? You will not act outside of your character, which is who you are. You won't act outside of that. Okay? So the purpose of the job interview, when you interview with the hiring manager or recruiter, is to get a sense of your character through understanding your thinking, through asking you questions and hearing how you respond. That's the whole purpose of the interview. Okay? So if you don't understand that, and we ask you, tell me about yourself, and you hear, oh, they want to know about me, my personal life. And you start selling them on your personal life and your career accomplishments and the things you've done before, and you give them no insight into how you would act or respond in terms of your character, strike one. That's an issue. So what do I tell clients to do when they interview? When you're asked the question, tell me about yourself, I tell them, I want you to write down 3 to 5 character traits that uniquely describe you. Because this is the actual question the hiring manager is asking. Tell me about the 3 or 4 character traits that make you a cut above others I will interview. Now, people who are not prepped by me, people who have not seen my content, they're all going to answer this question wrong. And if this is your first time watching me live or consuming my content, you've been answering it wrong too. I guarantee it. You do not talk about your character. You talk about your work history. If I'm right, type yep in the chat. Type yep or yep in the chat. If I'm correct, you normally talk about your career when asked, tell me about yourself. If that's you, type yes. Yeah, that's what I do in the chat. And that is an issue, because that is not what the hiring manager is asking you. They get no insight into who you are and how you will respond. A job is something you do. And the problem is, we don't know if when the doors are closed and the lights are off and you are behind your computer screen, if you're going to do the right thing. We don't know that. Okay? So let's practice this. In the chat, I want you to type 3 of your greatest character traits. That could be you're honest, you're straightforward, you have integrity, you are very committed, you're loyal. I want you to type that in the chat right now. Type it in the chat. Your 3 best character traits. That's what you should be telling the hiring manager. Okay? Most people, okay, so butterfly, this is a big issue. Organized is not a character trait. Dependable is. Passionate is. It has to be a character trait. I want you to know what a character trait defines who you are, not what you do. This, again, please listen to me. Your character defines who you are on the inside, not what you do externally. Who you are. I am very hardworking. I am loyal. I am very committed. Once I go all in, I'm all in. I'm stuck like Chuck. You're going to have to pull me out. Right? I'm adaptable. Right? I'm flexible. You have to make sure you put in things that tell the hiring manager who you are on the inside, not what they can see with their eyes in terms of what you do. Okay? That's important. So integrity, hard work, committed. Yes, this is what hiring managers are asking when they say, tell me about yourself. They're trying to figure out your character. Okay? So most of you get that wrong. You don't answer this question right. So that's strike one. Okay? So the second issue that people have when they are interviewing for a job, problem number one is you don't know that the job interview is about your character, not your career. The second issue is your interview answers are way too long. You talk too much. Now I'm going to explain to you what I mean. I am having to learn this myself. In fact, I did it today with my wife. I'm going to explain to you what I mean in just a second. So what do I mean when I say you talk too much? So that guy that I just gave you an example of, I did a coaching call with, he said he had 30 interviews, but he did not get any job offers. Okay? And I said to him, the thing that you believe is your biggest strength is actually your biggest liability. Is killing your interviews. In your interviews, you're talking too much. He says, what do you mean? I say, I bet you give an answer, and then you explain why you gave that answer, which makes your answer 3 times longer than it should have been. My wife asked me a question today. She showed me a picture, right? Because she does education content as well. And so she says, hey, I'm going to start using these pictures to push out content as a resource for teachers. Do these pictures look realistic? That's what she asked me. The answer was yes. But this is what I said. I shouldn't have said this. And I'm going to stop doing this. I said, yes, they do look realistic, but that's not something you need to be focusing on. She didn't ask me for that additional information, right? She just asked me, does the picture look realistic? Yes. Right? But I'm trying to tell her, you got to stop. No. I should have just said, yes, they do, babe. They do. They look realistic. They look just like you. See what I just did? That's what you do in interviews. I had a lady that I interview prepped today. I told her the same thing. I said, ma'am, you don't recognize this, but I'm asking you a pretty straightforward question, and you're giving me a straightforward answer along with the explanation of why you gave me that answer. That's too much. Stop talking so much. What is that an indication of? Please put your listening ears on. When you overtalk and you have to clarify your response, it shows you lack confidence. If that's a surprise to you, type, ah. That's why you don't overtalk in an interview. When you give an answer, give that answer. Stop. When you have to explain why you gave that answer, it shows that you lack confidence in the answer you just gave. Hiring managers lose trust when you do that. That's a big issue for a lot of people. So that's what I told this guy. And he says, you know what? You're so right. I said, I know I'm right because you're doing it now in this coaching call. When I ask you a question, just answer the question. Don't give me an explanation of why you gave that answer. I call that peacocking. And all of you do it. And when you do that, Translated, show the hiring manager that you lack confidence in your answer. Strike 2. Now, job interviewing is not like baseball. It's not 3 strikes and you're out. It's 2 strikes and you're out. Okay? So Curated says, what about answering the question, tell me about a time question? So I'm going to talk about behavior-based questions in just a second. I'm going to tell you how to answer those behavior-based questions the right way. Okay? So most of you, the biggest issue you have is you don't answer the questions in a very short manner. In fact, what is the framework that you should be working within? If it is a non-behavior or situational based question, like tell me about yourself, or why did you leave your last job, or why are you looking to leave your current job, that should be answered in 15 seconds or less. Okay? So I'm going to go over the 6 to 8 interview questions in just a minute, so hang in there with me because this is going to help you. So what is the third reason why most people do not get a job offer? Even though you think you crushed it in the interview, 3 days later, you get an email that says, no, thank you, we decided to go with somebody else. Why does that happen? Okay, it's because you're not prepared. Okay, now what do I mean when I say you're not prepared? I play golf. Okay, and when I go play golf, I warm up before I play, and then when I get to the course, I tee the ball up and I take a couple of practice swings, and then I hit the ball, and the ball, most of the time, usually, will go generally in an area that I want it to go in. One of the things I try not to do, because golf is so hard, one of the things I try not to do is I try not to hit shots that I have not practiced over and over and over and over again. Somebody asked Kobe Bryant a question one time, and they said, Kobe, you have been in so many game-winning situations. Do you ever get nervous? And Kobe Bryant said, why would I get nervous? I practiced that shot 10,000 times before I took it. No, I don't get nervous. Tiger Woods said this. He says, the week of a tournament that he played in, the reason why Tiger Woods, in my opinion, is one of the best golfers to ever play the game, well, by stats he is too. The reason why Tiger is so good, he says, the week of a tournament, every day I make 1,000 contacts with the golf ball. He said that might be 600 putts, 200 wedge shots, 50 driver shots. He says he hits the ball 1,000 times every day. Why does he do that? He's preparing himself to not be nervous or overthink when he gets over a shot when he's about to swing the golf club. How you doing, Tracy? So your problem is you're not prepared. I had another client that I spoke to today said, I am nervous about interviewing because I haven't interviewed in 20 years. Do you know the job? Of course, right? Do you know yourself? Absolutely. You just don't have a framework that you can walk through that helps you easily interview. So you lack preparation. Most of you lack preparation. You have not looked at the company. So when they ask you a question like, what do you know about the job? What do you know about the company? Most of you will say, well, I have not had time to research the company. I wanted to learn more about it during this interview. That's a no-no. Because the hiring manager is thinking, you could take 10 seconds sitting in your car and do a Google search and go to our website? No, thank you. I'll hire somebody else. That's exactly what they're thinking. Okay? So you are not prepared. And what I do for every single person who walks in to an interview with me, before they go see a hiring manager, I prepare them. Keisha asked, can you save this live? This live will be available for replay on my YouTube channel, Daniel Smiley Speaks. So just go over there and you'll be able to see this and other lives that are just like it. All right. So Mr. James says, I sent you a DM yesterday and saw your response in the follow-up. Would me leaving off certain jobs off my resume because of lying, or is it okay to omit certain things on my resume? Okay. Now, James, I'm glad you asked this question. Right? And I can understand what you're saying. You're saying, Daniel, are you telling me to tell a lie? No. You ask me this question. When a recruiter asks me, why am I leaving my job after only 3 months? What should I say? That's what you asking me, right? And my response is, they won't ask you that question if it's not on your resume. See, you think a hiring manager cares about your work history. They don't. We don't care. I don't care where you worked. We don't care. See, this is an issue. Mr. James, again, I know you're not trying to trip me up, but I'm trying to explain something to you. We don't care. Now, let me make it more plain for you, James. I want you to check this out. Imagine you're somebody like me. You have 36 years of work history. Right? I just told you when I started working in 1980, whatever that was, 1978, I worked at McDonald's. Right? Do you think I have McDonald's on my resume? No! It has nothing to do with my career. Do you think I have Popeyes on my resume? Do you think I have the golf course that I work behind the counter on my resume? No. Nobody cares about it. It's irrelevant. So if you worked a job for 3 months and you walked off of that job because it's horrible, leave it off your resume and we won't ask about it. I mean, that's the answer. You understand? Just don't put it on your resume. Or be prepared to answer why you're leaving this job after only being there for 3 months. Get it? Did that help you, Mr. Carter? All right. So what is the fourth reason why hiring managers will not make you a job offer? Please listen to me very carefully. All right, thank you. I'm glad you got it, James. Thank you, Mr. Carter. I appreciate that. Here's the fourth reason. When you get in an interview, please listen to me, because this is annoying to hiring managers. When you get in the interview, the hiring manager has already decided you can do the job. But what you do in the interview is you try to oversell your skill. You keep talking about the what you did, not the what you will do. You keep selling over and over again. Years ago, I purchased a car. One of my dream vehicles. I love it. Right? It's a Chrysler 300 C. Love it. Man, that bad boy is nice on the highway. Okay? I purchased the C package. Has all of the chrome, the executive stuff. That's the one I wanted. I didn't want the S. I didn't want the touring. I wanted the C. So I called around the several car dealers and I said, hey, this is what I'm looking for. A gunmetal gray, black leather interior, wood grain steering wheel, wood grain accents, moon roof, chrome wheels. Right? I was very specific. And I said I want it to be this year or above, and I don't want it to cost any more than this. When you find that car, call me. I'll come to your dealership and buy it. So I called around to several dealerships. One dealership close to me finally responded. But before they responded, several dealerships called me. One guy called me and said, hey, I see you looking for a Chrysler 300. I don't have a C, but I have a S, and it's white. I said, I didn't ask for a white one, and I don't want an S. So he tried to sell me on the S. I said, I don't care what the S does. I don't want an S. And I don't want a white one. Somebody else called me and talked to me about another one. I got a black one. I don't want a black one. I want a gunmetal gray one with black leather interior, heated seats, heated steering, cooled seats, wood grain, moonroof. That's what I want. Watch this. So there was a dealer that had it. And when I went to the dealership, the guy started talking to me about the car. And I said, sir, I told you what I wanted. You told me you had it. This car has it. You don't have to sell me on anything. Just tell me where to sign. Like, what are you trying to sell me for? Stop it. I'm buying the car. I already know what the car has. See, that's what you do in interviews. The hiring manager's already seen your qualifications. They know you could do the job. That's not a question. Nobody wonders whether or not you can actually do the job. Okay? But you start talking to them about your qualification as it relates to the job. And hiring managers hate that. That's annoying. We already know you can do the job. That's why we picked you. So you don't answer interview questions like that. Now I want you to tell me in the chat. Come on, be honest. Is that what you do? Type yes or yes. That's exactly what I do. I'm overselling in an interview. Yes, don't do that. Overselling is also a sign of a lack of confidence. That's a character flaw. You lack confidence. Hiring managers don't like that. Okay? All right. What's the fifth reason? Oh, please listen to me. What's the fifth reason? The fifth reason why you don't get a job offer is because at the end of the interview, you ask way too many questions. See, you think asking questions, the questions you ask, you think that's awesome, don't you? Type yes in the chat. How many questions do you ask at the end of an interview? Be honest with me and type the number in the chat. How many questions do you typically ask? 2, 3, 4? Like, what do you ask, right? There's a lot of people that I talk to, they'll say 2 to 3. All right, most of you guys type 2 to 3 questions. They'll ask, what does success look like? 3 to 5 years, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That's what they'll ask, right? Or they'll say, why is this position vacant? What was the person like in this position before? What is the culture like? Right? These are all of the questions that you ask. Let me explain to you what's happening in the mind of a hiring manager. Now, I discovered this, I don't know, 30 years ago. See, I'm very, very passionate about submitting only like what I call supremely qualified candidates for jobs. Because I don't want a hiring manager to tell me no because I didn't give them what they wanted. I want them to know I'm the man.com. I know how to recruit. Okay? So let me tell you how I found this out. I would submit a very qualified person to them. And they would come back and say, nah, the person's not going to be a fit for my team. And I would be like, wait a minute, what? What are you talking about? And they would say this to me. Well, they asked me about this, and they asked me about this, and they asked me about this. I was going to make them an offer, but listen, their question made me think that they're skeptical about the job. If that's a surprise to you, type, wow, your questions don't do what you think they do. When you ask a hiring manager, what does success look like? They're thinking, like, why do they want to know that? They're skeptical. What does the culture of the company look like? Oh, you worried about the culture of the company? Skepticism is what they get. So they may have already made up in their mind they want to make you a job offer. You start asking all of these questions, and they start to think you're skeptical. So they change their mind. I've heard that hundreds of times. So I started telling candidates, don't ask 2 or 3 questions at the end of an interview. And they would be like, why? I want to know this. I said, everything you need to know, you can know it before you even walk in the door. You should already know these things. Okay? You need to understand when you start to ask these questions, I know what you want. I know what you're looking for. But what does the hiring manager think? Because they hold the key to the offer. They're thinking, oh, this person must be second guessing this job. And you don't know that. So I started telling candidates 30 years ago, don't ask those questions, brother, sister. Don't do that. Okay? So, for E.L. Weeby says, yeah, I'm trying to get an aquatic coordinator position, and I got all of the qualifications for it and 5 years experience. If they know that, just go in with confidence. Yes. What is confidence? And how is this confidence displayed in an interview? Confidence is a belief in oneself, right? You believe in yourself. And so you answer questions in a way, which I'm going to go over the 6 to 8 questions right now, and then I'm going to tell you the question you should ask at the end and why you ask that question. Confidence is a belief in oneself. When you give very straightforward, direct answers that don't waver, hiring managers like that. But many of you fail to do that. So let's walk through the 3 non-behavioral based questions you will get 100% of the time, and the 3 to 5 behavior-based questions. 3 behavior-based questions you'll get 100% of the time. Why hiring managers ask them and how you should answer them. And then if you are a manager, right, you manage people, there's 2 additional questions that you will get. So let's walk through all of those questions. If you're ready, type I'm ready in the chat, and I'm going to walk you through every single question so you can have it. Stick around. I'm going to tell you, Jazz, in just a second, the one question that you should ask that will get a hiring manager to tell you if they're going to make you a job offer. Wouldn't it be nice to know before you left the interview if you were going to get a job offer? I'm going to tell you how you can know that with almost 100% certainty. So if you're ready, everybody tap the screen for me for the next 15 seconds. I want you to tap the screen as fast as you can, and I'm about to walk through the 6 to 8 interview questions you are going to get almost 100% of the time. Someone reached out to me the other day and said, hey Daniel, can I send you a video of me doing a video interview as preparation for our coaching call? I said, no, you don't have to send me anything. I already know the questions they're going to ask you. So I have a guide called my interview cheat sheet. It's the top 50 interview questions and answers every hiring manager will ask you and how to answer them. Where did this accumulation of 50 questions come from? It came from my years of preparing hiring managers with these questions and the varying combinations of those questions. There is no question that a hiring manager will ever ask you that is not in that cheat sheet, and I don't know the answer to it. Not one. Okay? All right? So check it out. All right, you said you're ready. You guys are tapping the screen. Thank you so much. We're at 5,000 likes. That was the first goal. Let's see if we can get to 7,500 likes. Please continue to tap the screen for another couple of seconds as I walk through each one of the 6 interview questions. If you know these questions and you learn these questions, and you can watch this on replay, or you can get my interview cheat sheet, you will never be nervous in an interview again because everybody will ask you these questions. All right? Question number 1. I'm trying to pull something up here real quick. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So what's the first question? The first question, this is what's going to happen. You walk into an interview. You're going to sit down, and the hiring manager is going to say, thank you very much for coming to this interview. I really appreciate it. Let's get started. Tell me about yourself. That's the first question every hiring manager is going to get. please to confirm, have you ever heard that question in an interview? Just type Y in the chat. Just a Y in the chat. I should get 100 Y's. Okay, type the letter Y in the chat. I've gotten that question before. Tell me about yourself. Remember, that is a character question. So what they're asking you is, tell me about the 3 or 4 character traits that make you uniquely who you are and different than every other candidate that I'm going to interview. So the way you answer that question is you give the 3 to 4 character traits that I asked you to list earlier. And that's it. So I would say something like, well, thank you for the interview. Here is something you need to know about me. I'm a very hard worker. I'm very committed. When I'm all in, I'm all in. I'm very loyal and I'm dependable. I'm someone you will never have to worry about the job getting done. That's my answer. It takes 9 seconds for me to say it, and I say that 100% of the time. Okay? That's what you need to know about me, and I sit back in my seat and I wait for the next question. The second question they're going to ask you is they're going to say, hey, I'm looking at your resume and I see that you currently are working. Help me understand. Why are you looking to leave your current job? Remember, all of these questions give them insight into your character. Why are they asking, why are you looking to leave your current job? Now, many of you will say, well, I'm looking for growth. I'm looking for more money. I'm looking for a promotion. I'm looking for a better opportunity. And what the hiring manager hears when you say that is, oh, better opportunity? More money? Really? So you're telling me that you're the kind of person that if I hire you and another opportunity comes along that you think is better, you're going to leave me too, right? That's what your character tells me. That's the kind of person you are. No, thank you. I'll hire somebody else. So what is the right answer? Why are they asking? They're trying to get a sense of, is this person really committed? Are they really loyal? That's what they're trying to see when they ask you, why are you looking to leave your current job? Are you a loyal and committed person? That's what they're asking. Okay? So you say, the company that I currently work for, they're awesome. However, my desire is to work on a team that functions as a great team like this one. I've done my research and I see that you guys are an awesome team. That's why I want to join. That's it. Don't say anything else. Okay? They're trying to see, are you a person who is really committed and loyal? Okay? The third question they're going to ask you is, why do you want to work here? Or, what do you know about this job and this company? Now, why are they asking that question? Well, they're trying to see if you're diligent. Remember, it's about character. If you're diligent. They're saying to themselves, if this person has done their due diligence and researched us and can tell us about the job, they are someone who is prepared and diligent, disciplined. That's somebody we want to work with. When you walk into an interview and you say, didn't do my research, came here to learn, you're showing them that you lack diligence. Okay? So Kwanda says, if my role was made redundant and I have a gap of 6 months, how do I explain that without sounding like it's a red flag with my gap? Okay? So Kwanda, you should never ever have to explain a gap in employment if you get to the hiring manager interview. Now, why am I saying that? We've already seen the gap and we decided to pick you anyway. We don't care about gaps. Nobody cares about that. We only care about your skill as it relates to solving our problem. That's all we care about. The only person that cares about the gap is you. I talked to another person today who's joining my fast track program, and she said, I've been working for this company for 3 calendar years. I need to make sure I land another job. they put this expectation on me, and I just can't meet it because we don't have the resources as a company to meet that expectation, blah, blah, blah. And she says, I need to give you a bit more context. She said, they asked me to come in for a meeting on Friday. And she said, I think what's going to happen is they're going to let me go. That's what she said. Right? She said, my concern then is, how do I explain that for my next interview? I said, you don't explain it because we don't care. You just say they laid you off. We don't question layoffs in talent acquisition and recruiting and HR. We know there's a bunch of reasons why. And then she said, well, what will I do if they say, can you give us a reference? And I said, first of all, let me frame the answer I'm about to give you. We don't care about references. I have not spoken to a reference, whether it's for a doctor or a lawyer or a VP or anybody. I haven't spoken to a reference that has ever said anything bad about a person. Ever. So that's fluff. It's a box we check. Okay? So I said, just give them a reference that'll say something good about you. That's it. We're looking at your skill. We're not going to use the reference to that's not going to diminish your skill. Okay? So the point I was trying to make is her issue is, what do I say if I'm terminated? I say, you tell them you were laid off. So in your case, what should you say if you have a gap of employment? You have not worked for 6 months. You say, I have been looking for work, but I have not been able to find something that I believe was a fit for me until now. That's how you answer that question. All right? So after they ask you 3 non-behavior based questions, non-situational based questions, then they're going to ask you 3 behavior based or situational based questions. If what I just shared with you is helpful, tap the screen 30 times each. Everybody tap the screen 30 times. What are behavior based questions? What's the purpose behind behavior based questions? Okay? All right, now here's what I want you to understand. So I asked a guy on my fast track program this. He graduated probably 3 weeks ago. I said to him, James, if I gave you my wallet and I have 8 credit cards in my wallet, if I gave you my wallet and told you I would be back in 4 weeks, what would you do? That's a situational type question. Like, I'm trying to understand how you would act if no one else is watching. How would you act if I'm not watching, if you're behind closed doors? So we're trying to get an indication. Remember, I talked to you about character. We're trying to get an indication of, does this person have strong enough character to handle situations without my supervision? Okay, so that's the purpose behind behavior-based questions. Okay, let me block this guy for just a second. Hold on for a second. I don't allow people to speak negativity and profanity on my live, so I'm sorry. All right. So, okay. So I told James, that's not you. He said his answer to me was, well, the first thing I would do is I would go through your wallet to see what the contents were. And I said, James, that is not the right answer. You don't answer like that. Right? Because now I'm wondering, why are you going through my wallet? Even though I asked you to hold it, I'm asking you to. So I want you to think about that wallet like it's a job. Okay? Why are you going through my wallet? I said the right answer would be, what I would answer, and the way I would do it is, if you gave me your wallet and you told me you were going to be back in 4 weeks, this is what I would do. I would take your wallet, put it in a safe place, and when you came back 4 weeks from now, I would give you the wallet back in the same condition you gave it to me. I wouldn't go through your wallet. What did I just prove and what he didn't? He just proved he can't be trusted. I just communicated I can be. That surprised him. Okay, that surprised him. And I said that speaks to a person's character. So when we ask you behavior-based questions, we're asking you questions to understand, get a deeper understanding of your character. So 3 behavior-based or situational-based questions will be asked of you almost 100% of the time. Question number 1. Talk to me about a time you had a conflict with a coworker or a manager. What was the situation and how did you get it resolved? Okay, so what we're trying to do is see how you relate to people on your team. Okay, now this is how you answer it without the answer being 5 minutes long. Now most of you will try to pull the story out of the sky. I don't want you to do that. What you need to do is you need to use the STAR interview answer framework. STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. The way I train it is I tell people you use each acronym and call it out before you give a response. So it sounds something like this. The situation was I had a conflict with the manager over this. My task was to understand where our disconnect was and what our differences were. The action was once I understood, I made the adjustment. The result was we got the outcome that the manager wanted. Okay? That's how you answer situational based questions when they ask you things like, tell me about a time you had a conflict with a manager or a coworker. Then they're going to ask you, talk to me about a time you had to deal with an irate customer or client. What was the situation and how did you respond? You do the same thing. You say, this is what the situation was, and you explain it. This is what my task was, and you explain it. This is the action I took, you explain it. This is the result I got, and you explain that. That will help you to answer the STAR-based interview questions or behavior-based interview questions or situational-based questions in 45 to 60 seconds or less. The final question they're going to ask you has to do with processes. Talk to me about a time there was a last-minute change in the process that messed things up. What was that situation and how did you respond? They're trying to see how you will respond and does your character hold up in those situations. Okay? Now, if you're a manager, there are 2 additional questions they're going to ask you. Please listen closely. One is, help me understand, how would you handle working with a team member that you're managing who is continuously underperforming and is performing below expectations? How would you handle it? Now, you are probably thinking, oh, they want to see if I'm a savior. They don't. Okay? So don't talk about a story where you pull the person out of the muck and mire, they were stuck in quicksand, and you saved their life. That's not what, that's communicating to them that you are long-suffering, and that's good in some instances, but in business, it's not. Okay? So the way you answer it is you say, well, if I had a person who was constantly underperforming below what is expected, I would follow the progressive disciplinary policy of the company. And if that person didn't correct their actions, we would have no choice but to terminate. That's how you answer that question. And then they're going to ask you, as a manager, as a leader, how would you describe your leadership style? Okay, I always say my leadership style is accountability. I hold myself accountable and to a high standard, and I hold my team accountable to a high standard. We will always get the job done because accountability is a huge part of what it is I like to see happen. So those are the 6 to 8 questions you will always be asked. They're in my interview cheat sheet. You will always get those questions. And if you can just learn those questions, you're going to be fine. Now, after they've asked you those questions, which is going to take about 6 minutes, 7 minutes, depending on how long your answers are, 6 or 7 minutes, they're going to start talking to you about the job. They're going to talk to you about what the job is, what they want someone to do, and the problems that they currently have with someone not doing the job. You're not going to respond in any other way other than to say, yeah, that makes sense to me, understand that, have experience doing that, been there, done that, the whole 9 yards. That's all you're going to say. You're not going to turn it into a problem-solving session where you relate your previous work history to this job. You're not going to do that, okay? And then at the end, the hiring manager is going to say this to you. Please get ready. They're going to say, type yes or yes in the chat if you've ever gotten this question. They're going to say, that is all I have. Do you have any questions for me? Okay? Type yes or yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Yes, so RH Cone, yes, training for underperforming person. You want to, in HR and management, we want to know that you have the wherewithal to deal with people who underperform in a right way, right? You're not going to spend the next year allowing them to continue to underperform without providing them with the tools, time, and training to get the job done and see if they make corrections. If they don't make corrections after you've done the training, then the only option is termination. All right. So what if they say, do you want to add anything else? I don't understand your question, Kamala. All right, so at the end of an interview, when a hiring manager says, that's all I have, do you have any questions for me? Many of you said that you ask 2 to 3 questions, 4 questions. You should not ask those questions. There's only one question you should ask. And I'm serious about this. I mean this. There's only one. Now, the purpose behind this question, and it's the most powerful candidate interview question, candidate question can be asked in an interview in the world, because it does 2 things. You want the hiring manager to know that you want the job. Okay? I know that. The second thing that's important is you want to know if they want to hire you. Now, have you ever done an interview? Type yes or yes in the chat. Have you ever done an interview and you thought you did great, and 3 days later you got a rejection letter? I'm going to tell you why that happened. It's because you didn't ask this question I'm about to tell you. Okay? All right. So at the end of an interview, that's all I have. Do you want me to add anything else? No, you shouldn't ask that. Or if they say, do you want me to add anything else? You just say no. That's the same as, do you have any questions for me? No, I don't want you to add anything else. I do have one question. And this is what you should say. And you should say it exactly like this. Okay? You should say to the hiring manager, thank you very much for this interview. I really learned a lot and I am excited about this job. I do have one question for you. When would you like for me to get started? Okay? You don't say, when do I start? What are the next steps? You don't ask those questions. You simply say, when would you like me to get started? When would you like me to get started? When would you like me to get started? Let me explain to you what happens when you do that. Remember, I told you earlier that out of the abundance of a person's thinking, the mouth will speak. Remember I said that to you? Out of the abundance of a person's thinking, the mouth will speak. This is your opportunity to see what the hiring manager is thinking, and none of you do this. Now, why did I create this question? Because I was sick and tired of hiring managers coming to me and telling me they wanted to offer somebody the job, but they were unsure if you would accept. I was sick and tired of you calling me, hammering my phone, asking me if they're going to offer you the job, and you sat in there with the hiring manager and you didn't get the answer. So I came up with a question that solves both of those problems, okay? It lets the hiring manager know you want the job, and it lets you know if the hiring manager wants to hire you. Let me explain to you how it works. It's the only question people on my fast track program ask. You should never don't you ever let your rear end walk out of an interview and you not know with 100% certainty whether or not they're going to make you a job offer. They're going to tell you if you ask the question. They don't know this is what you're asking, but they're going to tell you. So you say, thank you very much for this interview. I really learned a lot. I'm excited about this position. I do have one question for you. When would you like me to get started? This is how they're going to respond. They're going to say this. If they respond with, well, we do have several other people that we need to interview. And once we have interviewed everyone else, then we will make a decision about who we want to bring in. They don't want to offer you the job. Type yes or yes in the chat if you've ever heard that response from a hiring manager in an interview. Can I ask that in a follow-up email? No. When you walk out of that office, if you don't know whether or not they are going to make you an offer, you have lost your opportunity to get the offer. Every hiring manager knows within 30 minutes following an interview if they want to make you an offer. They know it. They don't have any questions in their mind. All right. So several of you are typing, yeah, I have heard that before. Hiring manager says, I need to interview other people before I make a decision. They're stalling. They don't want to hire you because they don't care about losing you. They're not acting with a sense of urgency. That's why you ask that question, because you're trying to see. Now, if they respond like this, you are definitely going to get an offer within 24 to 72 hours. Okay? So at the end of an interview, if you ask them the question, if you say, yeah, I do have one question for you. When would you like for me to get started? Number one, you just told them, I want the job, which is what they want to know. And then if they respond like this, well, the next steps are this. Someone from talent acquisition or recruiting will reach out to you. We do have to have you complete the application, get your 2 forms of ID. You have to pass a background check and do all of the onboarding. And once the onboarding is completed, we're looking to have someone start July 7th. If a hiring manager responds like that, they just told you without directly telling you, I want to make you an offer. I want to hire you for the job. 99.9% of the time when they say that, the job is yours. And you're going to get the job, which is why you should always ask that question. If that makes sense to you, type wow in the chat. Let me see you type wow in the chat. Wow, that makes sense. Yes, the reason why I came up with that question is because I want you to know with great certainty. Okay? That you got the job. Jason said I had that and I was the only candidate. Okay, great. All right. Let me read something to you, and then I am going to tell you how you can send a 4-question email from every offer you get, and a hiring manager will gladly, voluntarily give you $2,000 to $10,000 more from every job offer. Thank you for this job interview hack session. I've learned a lot, and I'm excited about my coming interview. Great. I'm happy for you. I really am. All right. So, how can I answer the question they gave me during the interview? I don't even know what the question is, Ali. All right. So, I have a client named Ariel Powell on my. She graduated from my fast track program a week ago. She sent me this message. She said, "Dear Mr. Smiley, thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me land a job that pays roughly $20,000 more a year than I have ever received before. And this is after 6 months of rejection letters." She says, "There is truly a method to what I thought was complete and utter madness. I thought you were kidding when you said we had to submit 100 applications daily and that it would only take 30 minutes a day. It used to take me roughly 30 minutes just to submit one application, let alone 100. She said, before you, I was losing hope in my ability to find work. Waking up daily to rejections kind of takes a toll on you mentally. One day, I was just doom scrolling, looking for some form of inspiration to keep me going, and I came across one of your videos talking about jobs. I was a bit skeptical at first because I thought you were like everyone else, just saying what people wanted to hear for a quick follow and a paycheck. I skipped your I skipped past your lives for 2 weeks while consistently praying to God for help. Eventually, I gave in and said, "What harm could you do? LOL." She said, "What caught my attention was the question you said to ask, which was, how many questions should you ask a hiring manager at the end of an interview?" She said, "The answer mystified me, so I thought I would use it should I ever get another interview. When I did get another interview, I used your line and it blew the recruiter away. I didn't get that job, but I knew right then that what you said meant business. So I took a leap of faith and invested in my future with you. Now, after only 1 week into your fast track program, I landed a much higher paying job than my previous one and can't stop laughing at myself for taking so long to do this. To anyone this reaches, his methods work. They are a guaranteed success, and I'm proof of that. Sincerely, Ariel Powell." So I shared that information with you for a reason, right? I know people are skeptical, and to be honest with you, I don't care about people's skepticism. I know what works. You'll notice also that I don't argue with people in comments, in the comment section. If somebody says something negative, they're going to have to go up against my 100,000 hires, 750,000 interviews, and I've submitted 500,000 people for job interviews over my career. I don't argue about that kind of stuff. I tell her story as inspiration, right? Because Ariel does what I do and what you do. We see something and we're skeptical about it, right? And we have to continue to research it until we kind of figure out, wait a minute, this might be real. I can at least give it a shot. Okay? How did Ariel get $20,000 more than her previous job? This is the 4-sentence question that you send back as a counter for every single job offer you get. If you're ready, type the $ in the chat. I want 25 to 30 people to type that $ in the chat. I'm about to tell you the 4-sentence email reply. This email reply will get you $2 to $10, sometimes $20,000 more than you got in the original offer. This works almost 100% of the time. Okay? So what has she sent back? This is what you say. When you get an offer in writing, can't be a verbal offer, it has to be a written offer. We give you 3 days to respond, yes or no. First day, you're not going to do anything. Okay? You're just going to sit on the offer. After 24 hours, you're going to send a response email, and this is what it is going to say. This is exactly what you say. Don't change the words. You're going to say, "Thank you very much for this offer. I am very excited to join the team. I was wondering if the company is able to go to whatever that new number is." Let's say the offer was 100,000. You say 108,000. Then you say, "Thanks again. I can't wait to get started." Okay, that's how you respond. Now, what's going to happen when they get the email on the other end? That email normally comes to somebody like me. It may go directly to the hiring manager, but it usually comes to somebody like me because I handle the offers. So, when the hiring manager gets that information, the hiring manager, if they can make the decision, they're going to say yes right on the spot. Here's why. When they interview you and they know that you have the skill and they now know you have the character, they have invested in you mentally and emotionally. They're like, "Oh my God, I found my person." What they know is, if they say no to your counter, they have to go back through the entire process to try to find someone as perfect as you. You're a needle in a haystack. They're not going to do it. Okay? So, if they can't make the decision directly, they're going to go to the VP or the director and they're going to say, "Hey, got a counter from Susan, from Scott, from Steven, whoever, and they want to know if we can go to 108. Is that possible? This is exactly what the VP or the director says. Do you think they're worth it? And the hiring manager says, absolutely. And they were like, okay, good. That's approved. What is an additional $8,000 a year? It's like $2 to $4 an hour more. It's like $100, $150 a week extra. They're not giving you $150. They're not giving you $8,000 cash. They're giving you $8,000 additional dollars over the year. So it's not a risk at all. So not asking means you're leaving money on the table. I do it every single time for every candidate. And most candidates have no idea to do this. So I tell them what I'm going to do before I say, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to send me this email and you're going to reply and this is what it's going to say. I say, if you say I said that, you know, hey, anyway, that's what happens. Okay. So that's going to get you more money almost 100% of the time. Okay. If this live was helpful to you, type yes in the chat. I'm going to talk to you about a couple things really quickly. So there are a couple things that I just shared with you about how to get more job offers, because that's what it's all about. If you can land the interview, you should be able to get the job offer. And if you're not getting a job offer, you got a problem. 8 out of 10 interviews you have, you should get a job offer, a high-paying job offer. Okay? If you're not getting that, your interview is broken and you need help. So what did I talk about? I talked about, one, the interview. You don't know what the job interview is about. It's not about your career, it's about your character. I told you about that. I explained to you exactly how that works. Then I talked to you about your answers being too long. 15 seconds for non-behavior questions, 45 to 60 seconds for behavior-based questions using the STAR interview answer framework. I talked about you having lack of preparation. Okay, you got to make sure that you're prepared. You need to know every question that's going to be asked of you, how to answer those questions. And when you are prepared, you're not nervous. You're like Kobe. In the last second, you can take a shot. You're going to make it. Miss it. Doesn't matter. Okay? Preparation is important. And then I talk about stop trying to sell yourself in an interview. Sell your skill. Okay? We already know you can do the job. Hiring managers are annoyed by that. And then I talked about the only question you should ask at the end of an interview and why you should ask it. Because you should never leave an interview with a hiring manager and not know if they're going to make you an offer. Ever. That should never happen. And then finally, I told you how to send a 4-question email response and get a hiring manager to give you $2, $5, $10, or $20,000 extra from the offer and why it works. Okay? Now, many of you have asked the question, well, I need help. Can you help me? I'm going to talk to you about the help that I offer, and you can decide to do it if you want to or not. Okay? So, if you're someone, you're saying, Daniel, I'm submitting my resume to a lot of jobs, but I'm not getting any interview hits. What's the problem? The problem is your resume, and we offer help. The resumes that we create get you 10 times more job interview calls than your current resume. Well, Daniel, how much does it cost? Okay, I'll tell you. I'm not ashamed to tell you. If you want a basic resume from us, one that attracts the attention of hiring managers and recruiters, that shows the hiring managers what you do, how long you've done it, how good you are doing it, and it has a high value statement that makes hiring managers call you first, our basic resume is $77.99. If you want us to add a cover letter, meaning a resume and a cover letter, that's our plus package, it's $88.99. And then we have a complete package, which is our interview ready package. It's a resume plus a cover letter, and it's a LinkedIn optimized resume that allows you to create job board accounts without you having to type anything. And I'm going to give you my top 50 interview questions and answer cheat sheet as a bonus for free. Only during this live, and I'm going to set a 20-minute clock. If you want to purchase a resume package, you can purchase the basic package, the $77.99 package, and I will automatically upgrade you to the top package for free. So you won't have to pay $97.99. You just pay $77.99. I'm only offering that to 20 people in the next 20 minutes doing this live. You have to send me an email that says live basic deal. I have staff standing by right now ready to send you a link to grab that if that's something that you want. Okay, if you want to get the same kind of results that Ariel got. All right, live basic deal is what the email has to say. Once this clock is done, the deal is off. First 20 people who get the deal, we will do your resume for you. There's a 4 business day turnaround, and we will get you taken care of. So live basic deal, and we will automatically upgrade you to the top package. So you pay $77.99 and we'll give you the top package. Live basic deal in the subject line. Send me an email. Daniel@dscds.com. Now some of you may say, I had a call with a client today, well, I need your help. Can you help me find a job in the next 30 days or less, like you did with Ariel, and is it guaranteed? The answer is yes. Someone asked me today as well, I had a conversation, what is your success rate? I said, for every person on my fast track program that does exactly what I tell them to do, 100% of them has gotten a job. There's not one person who has not gotten a job in that 30-day window if they did exactly what I said. What do I do on the fast track program? So I'm going to be your career coach, your recruiter. I'm going to take care of your resume. That's included. I'm going to help you update and upgrade your LinkedIn profile. That's included. Why is that important? Because recruiters are going to chase you down. I'm going to do all of your one-on-one coaching for interview prep, so you never have to worry about interviewing. I'm going to do all of your one-on-one prep for offers. You never have to worry about offers. You're always going to get a higher paying offer. I'm going to do all of your career coaching. You say, I want to switch, I want to do this, or whatever. I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to give you my top 50 interview questions and answer cheat sheet. I'm going to give you my popular top-selling book, Your Total Career Makeover. I'm going to give you my e-guide, What You Should Know Before You Go. All of the things that you should know before you go to an interview. And I'm going to give you the best way to negotiate pay so you understand how pay is created, so you can understand if this is a legitimate job, if something's worth your time or not. All of that comes with it. You also get group trainings, right? I do a training every accountability meeting every Monday and a training every Tuesday. I show you every Tuesday. I do a refresher training. I show you how to apply to 100 jobs on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com. And what is the time commitment? Everybody thinks, oh, it's going to take me all day. No. 30 minutes of your time. So imagine spending 30 minutes a day applying to 100 jobs per day and getting 5 to 10 people to call you per day about your resume. That's what happens on the fast track program. That's why people get so many jobs so fast. What is my guarantee? On my fast track program, if you do everything that I tell you to do, you will have 2 to 4 written job offers in less than 30 days. But you got to do everything I tell you to do. I'm adamant about that. Okay? What else do you get? You get 24 hours a day, 7 day a week access to me via my cell phone. So if you have an interview that's coming up, let's say Saturday, you got an email and it says they want to interview you Monday morning. You text me, we'll schedule a time, and I'll prep you for that interview even if it's on the weekend. Okay, if I'm able to do that. What does my fast track program cost? It's $547 for my fast track program. I allow you to do 4 installments. But today, and doing this live, only doing this live for the next 20 minutes, and this is for 6 people. 6. If you decide you want to join my fast track program and you want me to help you land a job, I'm going to give you 30% off immediately. So, not only am I going to give you 30% off, but I'm going to allow you to pay that over 4 installments for the next 4 months. So it's not $547 to join. It's $96 to join, and you just pay $96 a month for 3 months after that. You have to send me an email, the next 6 people, and it has to be FAST30 in the email. FAST30 if you want to join my fast track program. I'm going to answer your questions. I see several of you have written questions in comments in the chat. I'm going to answer those questions for you. But I'm going to start this clock right now. It's a 20-minute clock. Once this clock is done, these deals are over. Okay? So if you want me to do your resume and you want the automatic upgrade, live basic deal, I will upgrade you from the basic resume, $77.99, all the way to the top resume package, which is normally $98. That'll be done for free, and you'll get my top interview question and answer cheat sheet along with it. Now, if you want my cheat sheet, and that's all you want, you can send me an email, and in the subject line, type cheat sheet, and I'll send you a link to grab that. It is $11.99. You'll never have to worry about another interview for the rest of your life. So Diane, I see you sent an email that says live basic deal. I'm going to send you an email response right now, or someone on my staff will send you an email response with live basic deal to get that taken care of for you. And I'm only allowing this for like 10 or 15 people because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with orders. So we only allow it for so many people. What should I say if it's been 2 weeks, no response? Okay, so please listen to me. If you have done an interview and you have not heard back from the company in 72 hours, they don't want to hire you. Now, my recommendation usually is this. If you do an interview and you walk out of there and you did not know to ask the question that I said, when would you like me to get started, and you don't know if they want to make you an offer, so now you're waiting around to see if they're going to make you an offer. If you haven't heard back in 3 days, you need to send them an email on the first day. Hey, just wanted to follow up, see where things are in the process. And then the second day, you want to call them. If they don't respond to your email, you call on the second day. Okay, so this is, you wait 3 days. So on day 4, you email. On day 5, you call. If they do not respond to your phone call or your voicemail on the 6th business day, you're going to send an email and a phone call. Hey, and this is what it's going to say. Hey, I just wanted to follow up to make sure you haven't made a decision to go away from me before I decide to move on. Please respond by the end of the day today, or I will know that you've decided to go with someone else. That's it. And you move on. But if it's been 2 weeks, they don't want you. Should you have a different setup for different types of jobs? The answer to that question is no. I do not advise doing different resumes for different types of jobs because hiring managers are looking at your core skill or expertise. Okay? Many people think that they should tailor their resume to the job they're applying for. That is a humongous no-no. You should never do that. Let me explain to you something that has happened before. Okay? So one company is hiring for multiple positions. You have qualifications for multiple positions, different job titles, approximately the same pay. A person tailored their resume to each one of those jobs. So they had applications in the system on those jobs, but the resumes were different. That's a huge red flag. What do you do? Which one are you? So you should have one resume that's comprehensive, that shows all of your skill, experience, education, and background. And that's the resume that you should use across all jobs, period. All right? I don't care what the job is. Somebody asked me the other day, Daniel, I want to apply for a customer service job, but I've been doing truck driving and transportation. And I said, as a truck driver doing transportation, do you have the responsibility of customer service? And he said, of course. Yes. So all we do is front load your resume with the customer service part of your transportation, and that makes you qualify for customer service jobs. That's all you do. Because hiring managers care about the skill, not the job title you had. When I was national recruiting manager for a customer service call center, we used to hire several people that came from the retail space to do in-house customer service call center jobs because it was the core expertise of the customer service. Even though they did it face-to-face, that was important to us. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have 15 minutes left. If you want your resume fixed so you can get 10 times more job interviews, guaranteed, all you have to do is send me an email and in the subject line type live basic deal. Once you make the purchase, it'll automatically upgrade you to the top package. So you don't have to pay $97 or $98 for our top package and an additional $12 for the cheat sheet. You get the cheat sheet, the resume package, and everything for the basic amount. So it's $77.99. We will automatically upgrade you to the top amount. You just have to send me an email that says Live Basic Deals. Samantha, I see you sent yours as well. My staff will send you an email reply with for the Live Basic Deal. All you have to do is grab it. I'm only allowing, I just saw 16 more people. 16 more people can grab it, and that's it. Once those 16 purchases are done in the next 14 minutes, it's going to be over. If you want to be part of my Fast Track program, and I am only allowing 5 people to join the program today doing this live, just 5, okay, you will get 30% off the entire program. So instead of it being $547 or $136 a month for 4 months, it's just $96 a month for 4 months. So it's $96 to sign up, and I'll do your resume. I do it. I do your resume, help you do your LinkedIn profile so you get more recruiter calls, and I'm going to do all of your coaching, your one-on-one coaching. One hour session with me for coaching is $160. Okay, so all of this is included. All of your career coaching, all of your interview prep coaching, all of your offer coaching, and I'm giving you my interview cheat sheet, your total career makeover book, what you should know before you go guide, and the best way to negotiate pay guide. I'm giving you all of that as part of it, and you're going to get group training on how to apply to 100 jobs a day. Most of you don't know this, but the reason why you can't see a lot of jobs on LinkedIn when you're trying to apply is because you're on the wrong side of LinkedIn. LinkedIn has 2 job board sides. One is an AI side, one is a non-AI side. So when you go try to search for a job right now and you click enter, it only shows you jobs in your local area. If you don't know how to switch out of the AI side, it's not going to show you what you're looking for. I had a client that happened to. His name was Ron. He came to me, he can only see 2,500 jobs, and half of those jobs were already filled. When I did that same search, I pulled up 440,000 jobs. Most people have no idea that's how it works. Okay? So if you want the help, I'm happy to help you. So send me an email that says Live Basic Deal, and I'll upgrade you automatically to the top package. And if you're someone who wants to join my Fast Track program, send me an email that says Fast 30, and I will take 30% off my Fast Track program, only doing this live for the next 12 minutes. And I will automatically give you 30% off the Fast Track program. So you don't have to sign up for $136 a month for 4 months. It's just $96 to get started, and $96 a month for 3 months after that. I did the top package, but I didn't recall the LinkedIn resume. Should I have received 2 different resumes, the additional one for LinkedIn, or do you do one? So for the top package, what you get is a full resume. It'll have everything on it. Then you'll get a second resume that is a bit more stripped down. It's for when you upload it to create these profiles. Okay. And then you should have gotten a cover letter, and you should have gotten the interview cheat sheet. If you haven't, send me an email. I'll be more than happy to get that information to you. Okay. All right. So Kwanda says, yeah, I have more than 10 resumes. You should never do that. Don't have 10 resumes. Trust me, you shouldn't do that. Okay. That is not good at all. 1 resume is all you should have. If this is helpful to you, type yes in the chat. I want to make sure I'm still helping people as we're having this conversation. So if you have questions, leave it in the chat. And again, if you are interested in, and I have 10 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 10 minutes and 40 seconds left. If you want me to fix your resume, I'm happy to fix your resume. Instead of you paying for the $98 package, if you purchase the basic resume, I will automatically upgrade you to the top package. You have to send me an email that says Live Basic Deal. If you send me an email that says Live Basic Deal, my staff will send you an email that sends you a link to grab it with the discount. Automatically takes $20 off of it immediately. If you are someone who wants to join my Fast Track program because you're like the lady I spoke to earlier and said, she says, I am getting married, I'm going to Europe, I need to land a job. Can you help me? Yes. Now, I don't know if she's watching, but she doesn't get this 30% off. She has to pay the full amount. Okay? But because you're watching this live, you will get a 30% discount off the Fast Track program. Today only for the next 9 minutes. Okay? So, CM, it says, this is great. I have a Zoom interview on Thursday. Great. I'm glad it helps. You got to follow what I'm saying. Make sure in the interview on Thursday, you are not over talking. Make sure you're asking that one question. You got to understand that the interview is about your character. It's not about your career. We've already settled on the fact that your career is done and you can do the job. So make sure that that's how you are approaching the interview and not going in there trying to sell yourself. It just shows that you lack confidence and belief in your ability, and that lack of confidence means there's a character issue that we don't want to deal with. Okay? So if you want me to fix your resume and you want me to give you the best package for the basic price, live basic deal, if you purchase the $77.99 package in the next 8 minutes, I will automatically upgrade you to the top resume. Automatically. Okay? But you have to send me an email and have it say live basic deal. My email address is daniel@dscds.com. daniel@dscds.com. If you want me to hold your hand and walk you through landing a job, today is July 7th, I'm sorry. If you want to have a higher paying job offer, like Ariel, $20,000 more than she's ever made in her career, I will do that on my Fast Track program. The normal price for my Fast Track program is $547. But for this live and for the next 8 minutes today, I will give you 30% off of that program. Automatically, 30% off. Okay? All right. So, Tove George, I see you just sent me an email. I thought I saw you on here as well. I'll respond to your email in just a second so I can help you. I think I'm going to send you a link for the Fast Track program, Tove, because I think that's going to help you based on your email. You said, I really need your help right now. I'm temping with an agency. I would like help and advice. Okay, so Tove, I'm going to send you this email. Yeah, I thought I saw you here on TikTok. I'm going to respond to you and send you the email for the Fast Track program. And if you're serious about landing a job in the next 30 days, a higher paying job, I don't care what your skill set is. Since we've already done your resume, you will not only get 30% off, but I will eliminate your last payment. Okay, your last installment, I'll eliminate that because we've already taken care of your resume. So you would end up having to do 3 installments. Okay, not 4. So if you sign up today for $96, I'll help you find a job making more money than you ever made before in the next 30 days. So sign up for it right now and I'll get you squared away. All right. If you have a question, leave it in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer the question for you. But remember, we have 6 minutes left. And Toby, you got to sign up for it now. But we got 6 minutes left. And I only have 4 more slots for the Fast Track program and 11 slots for the resume package. Okay, 11, that's it. In the next 6 minutes, when this live is over, those deals will be gone. Okay, they will be gone. And they will not happen again until maybe we do another live and we offer some other kind of special. So, what is the special? You can purchase a basic resume, $77.99, and we will automatically upgrade you to the top package. The top resume package is a resume plus a cover letter plus a LinkedIn optimized resume. Plus, I'm going to give you my interview question and answer cheat sheet as a bonus for free. You get all of that. Normally, people pay $97, $98 for that. Okay, but if you send me an email that says live basic deal, I will give you that package for $77.99. Okay, so Soap says, can I have more info? What info are you interested in? All right, we just had somebody else purchase the complete package. I now have 10 left. send me an email or ask me a question, and I'll be happy to send you information that you need. I don't know what question you're asking me for, so Frank. All right. So if you want to join the Fast Track program, same thing. 4 minutes and 43 seconds left. If you want to join the Fast Track program, you will get 30% off immediately. So instead of you spending $547, you get 30% off of that. And I let you do it in 4 installments. $96 a month for 4 months. And my promise to you is I will help you land a high-paying job making $2,000 to $10,000 more in 30 days or less. That's my guarantee. Okay? There's several people who have joined the Fast Track program, and they're astonished. They're blown away by the results they got. Okay, I also read you Ariel's testimony, where Ariel was like, man, I thought you were crazy when you said we have to do 100 applications a day and it would only take 30 minutes. She said she didn't think it was possible. And when I showed it to her, I remember Ariel, she was so quiet. She was very quiet on the Zoom group meetings. Samantha, we received your order, and you will be automatically upgraded to the complete package, the top package. She was very quiet. So she was trying to make things happen behind the scenes. So she went out and applied to 100 jobs. This is what I tell people in the onboarding. When I complete their onboarding on Wednesday, because I'll do a welcome on Monday and an onboarding on Wednesday, I tell them, now that I've shown you how to do this, you're going to apply to 100 jobs right now. You're going to go 30 on ZipRecruiter, 30 on LinkedIn, 35 on ZipRecruiter, 30 on Indeed. You're going to do that. And I'll say today is Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I said, so by Monday, you should have applied to 600 jobs. All it's going to take you is 30 minutes a day. Lady asked me today, well, what's your success rate? I said, ma'am, most people say they want a job, and I show them how to do it in 30 minutes a day. And some people, they just don't believe it, so they don't do the whole thing. They'll do half of it. I had a person on the accountability call on yesterday, applied to 100 jobs. That's what she did last week, 100 jobs, and she got 2 interviews. And I said this to her in front of the group. Imagine what it would look like if you had done the 700 that I told you to do. You would have had 14 interviews. 14. There's no way you're not going to get a job. Absolutely no way. Okay? So Kelly, you sent me your email. Are you just wanting me to do... Kelly, so are you just wanting me to do a resume review? I don't know what you're wanting from me, because I know that you sent me this from Instagram, but you got to tell me what you want. If you want me to do the resume review, I'm happy to do the resume review for free and send you my response. But I don't see anything in the subject line that just says from Instagram. So please clarify and let me know if that's all you want me to do is your resume review. All right, we got a minute and 19 seconds left. A minute and 19 seconds left. 547 minus 30% equals 382.29 divided by 4. $95.73 a month. $95. This is cheaper. Getting a job is cheaper than grabbing my top resume package. This is $95.73. And I'm guaranteeing you I will find you a job, help you land multiple job offers in 30 days or less. Wow, I didn't know that. And this 30% off wasn't my idea. It was my staff's idea. Only doing lives. So we got 25 seconds left. Once that timer goes off, this live will be over. The deal will be done. Your email must be into me before this live is over, or the deal is off the table. You get 30% off my Fast Track program, or if you want the live basic deal, you automatically get upgraded if you send me an email that says live basic deal. 2 seconds left. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching live. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I will see you again soon. Take care. God bless you.